Welcome to Lions Live 365. I'm your host, Michael Ayers, and today we are doing another episode of Roster Breakdown. If you missed the first episode, that was the offensive line episode. You go ahead and watch that. But today we are doing the defensive line. This is not going to be an overly long video because we don't have a lot of people signed. I think we have more free agents in the in the defensive trenches than we actually have signed going into next year. I believe that's a sign that we're going to see some veteran turnover. We're also going to see some youth being injected into this unit. But let's talk about what we still have, right? So first and foremost, we're gonna start with the leader of the room. That is Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson is only 26 years. He's only going to be 26 years old. He's a second team All Pro off of snapping his leg. PFF grade has him at 91.2. If you're playing at that level and you're playing that consistently, you are essentially going on the road to the Hall of Fame. But my thing is, for him to reach that next level, there are some things that he's going to have to do. One, I need him moving around the defensive line more consistently. He cannot just rush the right tackle the majority of the time. That is not fair to his other teammates, and it's not fair to himself, because at the end of the day, when he rushes the right tackle on the majority of these teams, you're basically playing the lesser pass protector. In 90% of the cases, most of the teams that we play, the right tackle is not the best tackle on the team. So you'll see guys give AQM or the others a lot of slack for not being consistent, when at the end of the day, our best pass rusher is the one that is rushing a nobody, whereas they are rushing a premier tackle. So, for instance, when we played the Commanders, Aiden Hutchinson was rushing a rookie. AQ1 was rushing Laramie Tunsil. When we played the Giants, he might have been rushing like a 50th best tackle in the league in Illuminor, where AQM was rushing a top 5, top 10 tackle in the league in Andrew Thomas. In the case that we played the Bucks, they weren't even healthy on his side of the ball. He was rushing the backup tackle, whereas AQM was rushing Tristan Wirfs. Like, at the end of the day, if you're gonna be the guy, then you need to pass rush the other team's guy. Because what happens when you rush on the D line, if you can force a offensive coordinator to have to help his best guy, like say Aiden Hutchinson were to go against the Bucks and he were to line up against Tristan Wirfs and really work him for a whole game, then essentially they would have to start helping their best guy, and it helps the rest of your defensive line because you have a slightly above average pass rusher rushing a nobody, and you're still beating their best guy. And one of the things that is also effective about being the blind side protector is that if you get enough pressure from a quarterback's blind side, they start feeling that phantom pressure. And I don't know about you, I would feel some kind of way if I can't see Aiden Hutchinson and he hits me a couple times and it gives him more access to that. He has such a good how do I say it? He has such a good knack for getting the ball out. Being able to get the ball out from an unseen position would be great. So I need him to stop cherry picking the matchups. And if it's not him, I'm not gonna put it on Hutch. If it's not him, I need the defensive coordinator to be like, hey, I want you here. But you can't convince me that Ian Hutchinson can't say, hey, I would like to be on this side of the ball, Shep. I make 200 million and I have an opinion. I'm sure they would listen, right? So with that being said, that is a nitpick of Aiden Hutchinson. It's not a huge problem because at the end of the day, I don't care where you are on the defensive line. If you get 14 and a half sacks and 100 pressures, you did your job. But he can help out his teammates by taking on the harder assignment in more cases because he just doesn't do that often. Um, I want him moving around the defensive line. I want to see that. One thing that I also want is for him to have less snaps. it is malpractice that he had a 1,000 snap season a year after he snapped his leg. Dan, I need you. I don't care what Aiden Hutchinson wants. Dan, talk to him like, hey, you're getting off. Because at the end of the day, we can't be sitting here surprised when he have his next injury because we're out here overworking the guy. Get him out of the game on some rundowns. On first down, get him out of the game. Especially when you play a run heavy team. All right, get him out of the game. All right, if you want to, that's just how I feel. Now, if you want to say, hey, talent wise and all that, they couldn't afford it. I can't afford to lose the future based on any particular game. The player health has to be a bigger part of what we do here. Because I don't want to hear nothing about a third season of full on injury everybody. Like everybody can't be injured every season. I can't do this. All right? So that's my thing. Less snaps. I want to see him moving around the defensive line more. And at the end of the day, this is an A guy. All right? This is an A-level dude. For him to get the A+, the legendary status, he has to beat left tackles more often. And at the end of the day, he has to be consistent, more consistent against double teams and chips. Because sometimes teams can get in his head if they chip him enough. That's it. I know it feels nitpicky, but if you want to make somebody go from very good to great, those are the things that transcend a player into a different category. All right? That's how you become legendary. You want to be good? You want to be great. I'm sure he wants to be great. He doesn't play 1,000 snaps to be average. So that's my view on Hutch. Moving on. Aleem McNeil. This is the biggest disappointment in the room. I gave him a D. If you're sitting here like, how in the world did he get a D? The only reason he didn't get an F is because he's fresh off of ACL. He started in the middle of the season, and at the end of the day, coaching failed him. There is zero reason that a guy fresh off a knee injury is playing first downs at all. It's one thing if it's like, all right, we put him out there, he's playing well, then cool. If he's playing well, that makes sense. Okay, Aleem is playing well, and we need to get him out there, right? So in the Bucs game, that was cool. Even though you had a 20 snap limit for Aleem and you let him play 40, like we gotta. I know that like it sounds like, oh, that's not a big deal. That is a big deal. When we have the injury luck that we have, I don't want to see that, right? So he had 1 sack on the whole season. He had a 51.6 PFF grade. He had some pressures. He was extremely poor in run defense. Like his tape of him being moved off the ball is unsurprising. It's a guy that's 300 pounds that had a knee issue trying to stop 2 300-pounders from moving him off the ball. He wasn't ready. And we put him in way too many run situations. Then we tried to double back. We put him at defensive end and all that because he's struggling against the run. So now we're trying to get Tyleek back out there. And they didn't have, you can clearly see they didn't have a plan. And if they did have a plan, it was an awful one, right? But at the end of the day, he's going to be 26 years old. And next year is going to be a do or die season. If he does not ball out next year, there is a 0% chance that he is on the team in 2027. They can, if he's not that guy, they can roughly save about $22-23 million in the 2027 season, and they will find something to do with that money if he can't return to form. So I gave Aleem a D. I'm hoping that he can bounce back, but bro, like you can't. Some of this stuff is just you can't deny it, man. It was really poor football. And I think he was put in a position to fail. He should have been like a third down guy that they put out there until he was ready. And he just wasn't ready. Most ACLs are 2-year injuries for big dudes anyway. So hopefully he's back to himself. A full training camp will change some things. Moving on. We got Tyleek Williams. First round pick, 2025 draft. He got a lot of flack because we expected a nose tackle to rush the passer well. transitioning to the NFL. Um, and that's on y'all. I didn't expect the nose tackle to be great rushing the passer. I know that Brad Holmes lied to us and told us that he was gonna be. Oh, he got something. Yeah, he's yeah. In the future, he might be able to rush the passer, but right now, absolutely not. The fact that Tyleek has less snaps than the guy that as a first round pick, Tyleek Williams has less snaps than the dude that was fresh off of ACL, and that says everything about the decision making at the Detroit Lions. It needs to be studied. There needs to be some evolution. Yeah, let's evolve. Let's change some things, right? So, but key things for Tyleek Williams. If you want to look at the best version of Tyleek, look at the Bears game. He's getting penetration. He's throwing all pro guards around. Like that was a really good game for him. He had a ton of pressures, but he only has one sack. I think there is a lot of potential there. And when you are picking at the bottom of the first round, depending on the draft, you can basically get you can have a first round pick that operates a lot like a second rounder. You can in a different draft it could be a second rounder that operates a lot like a first round pick if it's deeper. So for me, when you're that late, sometimes you don't get players that pop. He wasn't a player that popped. He did really well, but it's not something that you could be like, oh, this is grand slam. Nah, it's not that. But he's good at what he's supposed to be good at, and he can develop in other areas. So I'm gonna give him a B on that. The crazy thing is the age. I started doing some research on the draft and realized that a lot of the players that we already have on our team are gonna be younger than guys that are coming out of college in the new NIL age where people are getting like 5 and 6 years. Like they red shirting and getting injury. I don't know what's going on because there's people that's coming out that's going to be older than Tyleek next year. Like I don't know. It's insane. But moving forward, um, you're gonna realize that most of the people I talk about later on are just not gonna be graded because they just didn't play that much, right? We got Makai Wingo, uh, another guy that's 23. He has less than 60 snaps. He got two pressures. He's off of ACL too. I think it might be back to back, and he was injured, and then he got injured again. And it's one of those situations where I see it. I see what they see. He has quickness. He has good hands. He has some techniques, but he's not going to hold up in the run game doing what we do on defense. So, but I think he's the quickest defensive tackle we have. He might. I'm not going to say he's the best pass rusher that we have at defensive tackle, but I see the potential for him to be the best pass rusher that we have, and I wouldn't be surprised they start using him for big edge formations, things like that. He actually fits the role pretty well. So not much that you can say about him, but I'm actually excited about him. He doesn't get a grade though. Uh, Tyler Lacey is also on this team, but I have zero feeling for him. I don't care if he goes or stays. So if you're like, hey, you basically talked about everybody but Tyler Lacey, there's a reason. I don't care. Nothing. I was highly upset that he got any snaps, and the fact that he got as many or more snaps than AQM just drove me up a wall. So I'm not doing any type of like profile for him. But we will finish off with Ahmed Hassanin. Ahmed is a long-term project player. Pec injury stole his season. If you notice, people, whether they have injury history or not, get injured here because we don't know how to prepare our players for the NFL without hurting them. But at the end of the day, hopefully we can stop saying that story. Also, he has an international designation, so essentially he doesn't count as a practice squad player. He could have chose to be anywhere in the league. All the teams called him because it was basically a free player, doesn't hold up a spot. Um, but he has powerful hands, super raw, high motor. Uh, don't see much that you can have a problem with. Hopefully we see some type of development, but at the end of the day, that's where we are with it. And last but not least, let's go over the free agents. Free agents: Alquadine Muhammad, Roy Lopez, DJ Reader, Marcus Davenport, and Tyrus Wheat are the edges that are leaving for sure. If you see the colors, yellow means I want them back, kinda. Green means I want them back as long as they not asking for something ridiculous, and red is I'm good. And so we're good on the DJ Readers and the Marcus Davenports. I would love to have Roy Lopez. I wouldn't mind if we gave him a long term, like some Derek Barnes ish. Like, you sure you giving him that? Yes. Yes, I like Roy. All right. Aquadine. I'm not sure if I was AQM, I wouldn't want to be back because essentially there's such a hard limit on it's such a hard limit on what he can be here. We don't allow people under 280, 275 to get first and second down snaps on this team, and that doesn't make sense. There are teams that allow people that are 250 pounds and are good against the run because he's not bad against the run. That's like a misconception. It's like, is he going to be able to hold a gap with getting double teamed with a tackle on the tight end? Most likely not. And that's what they want. That's what we want. We want somebody that can do that, which is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, Alquadine, he's probably going. He's shown enough pass rush juice that somebody might offer him something. But if not, I'll take him. Tyrus Wheat, I'll take him just because it's a body and we need bodies. And he wasn't bad. And at the end of the day, when you look at our room, I literally, for the whole defensive line, I think it's 6 people. They have to bring back somebody on this list because, I mean, there's not enough free agent money in the world. Unless the whole draft gonna be D-line, I don't see how we how we gonna go into next season. Like, I can't wait to see free agency, the draft, and all that. I might do some draft stuff later on just to see, just to see. Like, I look at some of the draft stuff and it's just like, bro, half of these dudes super old. Like, they 25 and they're gonna be 25-year-old rookies. Like, what's going on? Injury history is crazy for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, this is the type of draft that the Lions can get a lot of talent. There's a lot of guys in this draft that fit the profile, the size profile that they love. So maybe a lot of these people won't be back, but in total, man, it's not a lot. It's not a lot that we have in the cupboard, so we must be going to the grocery store to buy some edge, some D line. Don't be surprised they draft a D tackle. It's just crazy because we got 3 D tackles. One is a guy that barely plays, so I'm hoping they get Roy back. And then at defensive end, it's really Ahmed Hassanin, Aiden Hutchinson, and Tyler Lacey. Like, bro, you don't get some bodies in there, man. Um, well, that's really all. In the comments, tell me what unit y'all want to be covered next. I'm gonna do some shorts with some videos kind of attached to my talking points. But that's really it, man. I really appreciate y'all. I've been getting a lot of support, and I really appreciate y'all. And whether it's game day, draft day, or any day in between, it's Lions Live 365. Please like and subscribe. Peace out.